Hello students. So today we will learn about p block elements. So what are p block elements? P block elements are those elements whose valence electron or outer shell electron is in the p subshell. You know there are three types of or four types of subshells: S, P, D and F. So in S subshell there is one subshell, and in P there are three, and D there are five, and in F there are 7. So for those elements whose electronic configuration lands the valence electron or outer electron in the p subshell is called the p block element. So when I am going to write the electronic configuration of the p block element, the generalized electronic configuration would be NS NP. This is 1 to 2, this is 1 to 6. You know in S there is only one orbital. In P there are 3, Px, Py and Pz. So when the S orbital is full, there are 2 electrons. Okay. So when the last electron goes to this p subshells or p orbitals, these are called p block elements. Okay, so there will be one case where only px has one electron. In the second case, py will have one electron. In the third case, pz will be have one electron. So there are 3 electrons now. This is 4th, 5th and 6th. So there are total 6 numbers of possibilities to fill the p subshell. So we can say that there are 6 numbers of group present in the p block element. Because the p orbital has 6 electrons, or the p orbital can have maximum of 6 electrons. So the total number of groups that can be possible for p block is 6. That is from group number 13 to group number 18. And remember group number 18, that is helium, neon, argon, kryptonium, xenon, rubidium. All these are noble gases. Okay, this has the electronic configuration of NH2 and P6, means the outer shell is completely filled. So when we are talking about the p block elements, it has elements from boron. This is 13 group, this is 14, this is 15, 16, 17 and 18. So there are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers of groups present in the p block element. And there are 7 periods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 periods. So when we are saying that, so one more interesting thing about p block elements are very diverse with respect to their physical properties and chemical property also. For example, in case of physical property, the p block elements consist of not only metals but also non-metals, metalloids. Some of the elements are solid in nature, some of the elements are gaseous in nature, and some of the elements are semi-solid in nature. Just like so these are metals: aluminium, gallium, indium, titanium, lead, tin, bismuth. Okay, these yellow elements are semi-metal or metalloids, you can say, and these are non-metals: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sodium, selenium, etc. Okay, so for p block we will study from group number 13 to group number 18. So when I am saying that we will study these elements, we will study their physical properties, and chemical properties. What are the important molecules that these atoms form or these elements form, how to prepare those molecules in lab or factory. Okay, we will study what are the important molecules that these elements form, how to prepare them in the laboratory and how to prepare them in the industry or factory. So in the class 11 we have studied group number 13 and 14, that is carbon and boron group. Okay, so boron and carbon group we have studied. So now we will start with nitrogen group. So in nitrogen group there are 6 elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth and one radioactive element. Okay. So for our study the most important elements are 5 elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, bismuth, antimony and bismuth. These 5 elements are very important for us to study. So before going more into the details, I will explain how the electronic configuration. Remember 3 things. When we are studying the periodic table, the most important thing is the electronic configuration. Okay, every chemical property and physical properties are derived by the electronic configuration of the element, because it determines the size of the ionic radius or the size of the atomic radius, its tendency to oxidize another atom or reduce another atom, the total number of oxidation states or stable oxidation states that it can have, or you can say electronic configuration also determines the magnetic character, it is paramagnetic or diamagnetic, and many more things. So electronic configuration is very important. So for p block, when we are talking about electronic configuration, all we talk about the p subshell. Okay, so if there is one electron in the p subshell, it will have 13 group. For example, when I am saying this, there are 5 electrons in the boron, so I can write the electronic configuration is as 1s2, 2s2. So there are 2 to 4 electrons. Now 1 electron left, so that electron will go into p subshells, px, py or pz. This is 2p, 2px, 2pz. So 1 electron will go to this 2p cell, 2p orbit. So this is boron family or 13 group. As you can see, there is a tendency to lose this 1 electron, because if boron loses this 1 electron, the outer shell will be 2s2, which is fully filled. Remember, always fully filled and half filled orbitals are always gain extra stability. Therefore every element tries to complete their octet or make their orbitals half filled. So when coming to carbon, there are 6 electrons, so one more electron will go to the 2py. In nitrogen it is 7 electrons, so one more go to the 2pz. Now the p orbital is half filled, so this is extra stable. Therefore nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, these 5 elements are extra stable than the rest of the p block elements because of their half filled orbital. When we are coming to oxygen, there are 8 electrons, I can place one more electron here. For fluorine there is 9, and for neon that is 10. So now neon has completely filled p block p orbital. That's why neon is a inert gas, or you can say every element present in the group 18 are inert gases or noble gases, because their outer shell is completely filled and they are very much stable. They will not take part in any of the chemical reactions, but other elements will. So now we will see what are some of the properties of the 15th group or the nitrogen group. We will study the p block element in group wise. Okay, so when I am saying group wise means we will study some of the basic properties of the 15 block elements, how they react with other elements, or how they form chemical bond with other elements, what are their most important molecules, how they are formed in the laboratory, in the factory, what is their day-to-day life use. All this will study in the P block elements or periodic table, you can say. So now let's start with so this is one more photo of P block elements. You can see this is ranging from group number 13 to group number 18. There are 6 slots available in the P subshell or P subshells. So there are 6 possible groups in the P block elements, and there are 7 periods. So there are 7 rows. The columns are groups and the rows are period. Never get confused with those. Okay. So these are some of the physical properties of group 15 element. As you can see, nitrogen has 7 electron, so the atomic number is 7. Phosphorus has 15, arsenic has 33, antimony has 51, and bismuth has 83. The atomic mass is 14, 30, 74, 120, 209. So atomic mass is increasing as we go down the group. When I am writing this sign means down the group, positive means increasing. Okay, so atomic mass is increasing down the group. Now the valence electron configuration, as you can see, all are of 2p3, 3p3, 2p3, 4p3, 5p3, 6p3. So all the orbitals are half filled, means there is an extra stability with these elements because they have half filled orbital. Electronic configuration, or you can say outer shell electronic configuration for a particular group is always same. So for group 15, every element will have 3 electrons present in their outer p orbital. So there is a half filled p orbital for every element, so there is an extra stability. But as the size grows, we'll see in the later properties. So first thing is the melting point. Okay, so melting point is as you can see, for nitrogen it is minus 210 degrees Celsius. That is very, very, very low. Okay, so nitrogen melts in a very low temperature because nitrogen is difficult for, or you can say it is difficult for nitrogen to be present in a liquid or solid form. So it is more stable if it is in the gaseous form. So melting point for nitrogen is very low. For phosphorus it is 44.15 melting point. This is also very low but significantly greater than the nitrogen. So you can see here clearly nitrogen is a very special element. Now when coming to arsenic, it is going to 817. There is a very significant growth. Now for antimony it is 631, for bismuth it is 271. This is because the metallic character is increasing. Nitrogen is a non-metal, it is in gaseous states. Phosphorus is also a non-metal, but it can be present in the earth in the form of solid or powder. Arsenic is purely metal, antimony, bismuth all are metals. So they are present in the solid state. That's why their boiling point and melting points are very high as compared to the other 2 elements of the same group. So as you can see, here is a very wide range of melting and boiling point from minus 210 degrees Celsius to 271. Here one more thing you have to notice, for antimony it is 631 the melting point, but for bismuth it is 271. Here because the size is very important. Here as you can see, the size of antimony is 121 but size of bismuth is 209. It is almost double. So when there is a larger size of element, what happens that the attraction between the nucleus and the outer shell electron becomes weak. So that helps in, so we can easily change the state of the matter by using less amount of energy, because it is easy to disassociate the electrons of bismuth than antimony, because bismuth has a larger size. So these properties are evident in all of the groups that we'll study in the later classes. So one more important property is the atomic radius. This atomic radius. For nitrogen it is 56, for phosphorus it is 98, for arsenic it is 114, for antimony it is 133, for bismuth it is 143. So as you can see, there is a significant growth from nitrogen to phosphorus. There is a growth in phosphorus and arsenic also, but it is very less. It is around 16. For 114 to 133, it is almost around 20. Okay, from 133 to 140, it is almost around 10, or you can say this is 19. But from 56 to 98, it is almost around 42. So there is a significant growth in the atomic radius when we are going from nitrogen to phosphorus. This is because nitrogen has a very small size, that is due to the very stable p orbital, and nitrogen has very less number of electrons. That is why the outer shell electron is very close to the nucleus. So that's why the nucleus is attracting that outer shell electron very strongly, because of the smaller size of the nitrogen atom. When I am saying the sizes, means I am referring to the electronic configuration. Here remember, nitrogen has only two principal quantum number, that is 1 and 2, but phosphorus has 3, means there is one more orbital. So when I am writing 3s2, so that means I am writing 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So here phosphorus has already completely filled 1 and 1s and 2s2p orbitals, that is completely filled. After that it is 3s2 and 3p3 phosphorus. So the size is significantly larger than the nitrogen, because there is a shielding of this inner pair inner electron. Okay, because these orbitals are extra stable, so they will shield out, or they will form a barrier between the outer shell and the electrons, between the outer shell electrons and the nucleus. So that's why the nucleus, so the attraction force between that nucleus and the outer shell electron is get affected by the inner pair of electron, that is very much stable. So that's why the size is more, or you can say significantly more. But when we come to arsenic, antimony and bismuth, we can see the trend not growing at a rapid rate. It is increasing by 16, 19 and 10, because here the size is already too much. Okay, so it will not matter how many more principal quantum number are there, because the shielding is done by this 2s2, 2p6 orbitals, or you can say completely filled 1s and 1 and 2 principal quantum numbers. So here are some of the more properties. So kindly write down all these properties. Okay, so when we will study more groups like group 16, group 17, group 18 or deep log elements, we will talk about these properties only: the atomic mass, electronic configuration, their electronegativity, atomic radius, their ionization enthalpy, their common oxidation states. Okay, so just go through all the terms in your book, or you can search online, or you can ask me directly. Otherwise, I will also be explaining these terms here also. Okay. So let's see the first, ionization enthalpy.